What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/am I the Butthole. No initial waffle today, so we're jumping straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, the first story comes from Final Cheesecake 146, and it's called, Am I the Arsehole for ruining a pregnancy announcement by telling the woman she may have taken the wrong test? Obligatory sorry for the formatting. I'm on mobile and it's my first post on here. My husband and I, 30 male, 30 female, recently invited 8 friends for lunch, and we were asked if we could also include a new couple. Doug and Sasha, both 30s. We have never met them, but everyone who was invited has, so we said sure. At one point, Sasha needed to use the restroom, and I told her to use the master since the other bathroom was occupied. I was helping my husband finish with the food when Sasha came out of the master bawling and holding something in her hand. At first I thought she hurt herself, but she said something to Doug that caused him to drop to his knees, cry, and begin kissing her stomach. All of our friends began screaming, jumping, and crying. It was insane. Finally, Sasha tells my husband and I that she is pregnant. Of course, we congratulate both. She and Doug gave them a bag for the test, their request. I will admit that I did find it odd that she brought a pregnancy test and took it at a complete stranger's house, but I did not say that. Once everyone sat down to eat, Sasha said, OP, I hope you don't mind that I used one of your pregnancy tests. What the hell? I just saw them and had to. I responded confused that I don't have pregnancy tests. Sasha said yes, in your drawer. I asked Sasha if she meant the blue box in the back of my lower left drawer that was closed. She seemed to realize I was pointing out that she basically snooped and sheepishly said the box said pregnancy for pregnancy test. I said, Sasha, the brand is Pregmate and those are ovulation tests. I don't own pregnancy tests. Did you take an ovulation test? Doug freaked the absolute F out at me, saying his wife was not an idiot and can read a box. He insisted, Sasha, get the test out and show me that I'm wrong. Sasha refused, saying she didn't need to prove anything to a complete stranger and insisted they leave immediately. One of the couples thought Doug and Sasha acted ridiculous. The other 3 couples thought I should have pulled Sasha aside to discuss my concerns and said I was an arsehole for saying something in front of everyone. Honestly, the whole situation caught me off guard and everything happened so quickly. The whole thing was bizarre and confusing. I just didn't have time to put the pieces together mentally before asking about the ovulation tests. Also, I found out later through one of our friends that Sasha did take an ovulation test and she is not pregnant. Now this whole situation is just absolutely bizarre. The fact that they went to your bathroom, snooped through your stuff, then even if there was a pregnancy test in there, went, oh, I'm gonna have a go on that. For fuck's sake, man. I mean, come on now. No, the very fact that she was snooping through your stuff should have been called out immediately. You don't know this person, and they have the cheek to start rifling through stuff in your bathroom. I find that absolutely crazy. 100% not the arsehole to me, but we'll go to the comments to see what they say. But before we do again, going back on it and looking at the situation where they come out and she shows the pregnancy test and Doug drops to his knees in dramatic fashion. It just sounds all too much to me, does it not you? I know people get happy when they're pregnant, but in a stranger's house, I mean, it just seems weird. But the VXGB111 says not the arsehole. I mean, who the fuck goes through another person's drawers and takes any kind of test? It's her comeuppance to have taken the wrong test and embarrassed herself. Serves her right. Miranda666 says, not the arsehole. Who the fuck snoops around a bathroom and decides to take a pregnancy test with someone else's supplies in the first place? Honestly, I think that obnoxious snoop got precisely what she deserved when you told her what she had actually done. Sounds like Doug and Sasha don't belong on anyone's guest list. And nevertheless says, not the arsehole. What kind of person snoops through someone else's bathroom to take a pregnancy test at a dinner party hosted by strangers? They got the attention they wanted. And Lily Love says, not the arsehole. It's weird to immediately announce a pregnancy like that after just an at-home test. People wait 3 months for a reason. Nothing about the situation isn't weird. And Sad Cartographer says, not the arsehole. Doug and Sasha are the type that would announce a pregnancy at someone else's rehearsal dinner. Perhaps you should have pulled Sasha aside, but honestly, nobody can blame you for boggling at the acidity of it all. And we'll have one more from Sammy's FW saying, "Not the arsehole, and this is hilarious. It's a karma for rummaging through your drawer. Don't ever let these two dolts back into your home though." What's a dolt? Never heard of that before. But what do you guys think of this one? How would you react if this was your home and someone done that? Craziness. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Jabakman. "Am I the asshole for asking neighbors to stop putting signs in my yard?" Ooh, got us a neighbor story, guys. Some backstory. I live on a corner lot. On one side is a neighborhood road and on the other side is a big old public road. Part of my property has several easements and it's easy to mistake these areas as common areas, but it's all actually private property. The amount of people who assume they can use these areas of my land is mind-boggling. Every weekend there are at least 2 to 3 signs in my yard. Spa sale, gun show, real estate XYZ, moving sale, you name it. Not only do I find them trashy personally, but they're illegal per city regulation. Illegal in public right of way, permit required, or landowner permission required. People also sometimes think that they're my signs, where I have to stop and explain yet again to random garage sale chaser that it's not my sale, or to city police code enforcement. The story. I removed yet another moving sale sign and thought nothing of it until I came in the next morning to another one, this time placed further into my yard, and a suspicious, angry looking dude sitting in his car across the street. Closer inspection revealed a small note at the bottom that the HOA approved the sign and not to remove. Signed, a board member. Just like that, no name, phone number, just a board member. As I removed the sign, suspicious guy turned on his car and sped off into our neighborhood. Then for the next couple of hours or so, the same guy and car would repeatedly do slow drive-bys by the front side of the house, where I was working, glaring at me, so obviously it was his sign. Now I've been confronted, but I've never had anyone do anything like this before. So I decided to end it by returning the last sign and explaining why I was removing them, and proceeded to do exactly that. I walked until I saw the yard sale, asked if it was their sign, then calmly explained that it was a frequent error for people to assume that it was open space, but it was actually my property and the city will fine me for having temporary signs in my yard. Please stop putting them there, yada yada. As I'm turning to walk away, the guy from the car goes, "It's actually HOA property," like he didn't listen to a thing I just said. So I assured him most certainly was not HOA property, it was mine, and he can verify that with a county assessor's office, if he was so inclined. I go to walk away again, and now the lady, the board member, is chastising me too, for removing her sign, for not coming to talk to her, both of which I was technically doing. My actions are completely unacceptable. This isn't how you behave. Absolutely no recognition for either her or her husband's behavior. Anyways, the HOA is now involved and they're acting like I'm being a huge asshole. I just don't get it. This is my property. Just stay the fuck off of it, right? Now, I think this is a very, very simple one for me, that this is your property, this is your land. They're putting signs on it which could potentially get you in trouble, so you're not the asshole, and maybe getting a lawyer involved to actually keep them away. Bloody HOAs, man. But Cool Cat says, not the asshole, get a private property sign and a camera. Also on that sign saying police will be phoned for trespassing. And Love Me Long Time says, get a lawyer to write the board members a fuck off and leave you and your property alone letter. It will be well worth the expense. You know the HOA has a lawyer. If you're in the right, and I sincerely hope you are, that should stop it. Not the arsehole, and the nerve of those people. And Horizons Kids Got Lucky says, not the arsehole. Why they think they can put up signs on someone else's property is beyond me. And Pinky Flamingo says, not the arsehole. Might be time to landscape the corner so as to prevent the problem. And we'll have one more from Algebra Lover saying, not the arsehole. One board member cannot approve a sign either. Sounds like you need to do all of the following. 1. Have your lawyer notify the HOA that signs in your yard, including the plat map as part of the letter, are not permitted and against city ordinance. 2. Attend every HOA meeting and make certain that the other members as well as the board hear the letter from your lawyer. 3. Put up some sort of marking, can be a small decorative fence, to show where your property line is, without blocking traffic or sight lines. 4. Add cameras, and if a sign is added, start notifying the sender in writing that they trespassed. I'd seriously consider calling the police to ask them to cite the person for trespassing. interesting stuff then. It'd be interesting to know what happens in the future. Usually, well, stories we've read in the past, where an HOA member has complained about the HOA itself or caused some sort of trouble, the HOA usually puts their foot down even harder and causes trouble for that particular person. So we may be seeing this OP coming back in the future. Who knows? But what would you do in this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story. Our next story comes from Key Development 9361. Am I the arsehole for asking my friend why really she broke up with her ex? Throwaway account since friend in question is on Reddit as well. It's a low level am I the arsehole, but I wanted to get some perspective. This incident actually happened a while ago, approximately 5 to 6 years ago, but I wanted to get a third party opinion since it caused a rift. So 5 to 6 years ago, my close friends Alice, then 21 female, and James, then 23, got together. Things were looking great. They were a good couple, but 2 years later, James had to go on an extended work trip for a couple of months, and when he came back, Alex decided to break up with him. It was not an amicable breakup, of which I mostly blame Alice for since she blindsided James and the rest of our friend group. She claimed it was because she did a lot of reevaluation during the months he was away and decided unanimously that their values were not aligned. James mentions that she did try to discuss some things with him, but it never really went anywhere. James was completely heartbroken, and he often called me up during that time to try and figure out why Alice had broken up with him. Alice apparently kept repeating the same story on how their values weren't aligned and she wanted to focus on herself first. She was going to grad school, which I thought was strange but didn't really think about it. James mentioned that his work colleagues figured Alice found another guy while he was away, that's why she was breaking up with him. I felt it was a plausible reason, so the next time I met up with Alice, I asked her point blank, "Did you cheat on James?" She was furious. She asked me how dare I ask her such a question, since 1, I've known her for so long and know her one-strike stance on cheating, and 2, why would I indirectly believe strangers, i.e. James' work colleagues? But I explained that people change, and I wouldn't judge her if she really did cheat on James, but that it was not too late to fix things with him, since he was open and willing. She told me there was no one and left shortly after. She stayed single for a year before getting together with her current boyfriend, which she didn't tell me about while in grad school. I tried connecting with her recently and found her and her current boyfriend are talking about marriage. I was hurt she didn't update me about her life, and she straight up told me that her perception of me changed when I questioned her integrity, as she puts it, and I would just tattle to her ex. James just asks for updates now and then, and I don't see the harm in sharing with him if she's really moved on. I told her she was being ridiculous, but our mutual friends told me that she has a point. So, am I the arsehole? Now in this one, in part of it, you mentioned that James mentioned that Alice did try to discuss some things with him, but it really never went anywhere, and that's where their values weren't aligned. So it sounds like Alice did try to fix a relationship at one point, but it either got brushed aside or ignored or whatever. So you can see why they split up in the end, because their values didn't align, and I think that's a very mature way of dealing with things, especially if she just wants to work on herself and when she tried to fix things initially. So it's going to make you the arsehole, and as well for, sharing information with James about her as well. It just seems very, very odd and creepy to me, so I'm going to say you're the arsehole in this situation to me. But Budding Clover says, "Ooh, why are you reporting on her to her fucking ex? That shit is weird and invasive. If she wanted him to know what was going on in her life, she would tell him herself. Neither you nor him have the right to violate her boundaries like that because you don't think she had a good reason to break up with him in the first place. You're the arsehole." And Cookin Stevens says, "You're the arsehole. Alex broke up with James. You only know what James tells you about the relationship. Maybe they wanted different things in life and had different ideologies. Instead of accepting that, you accused her of cheating. You point blank asked her if she did. When she denied, you bunkered down and told her she could still be forgiven. You're butthurt because she didn't tell you about her life. Guess what? You're not her friend. She doesn't owe you any updates on her relationship or life. Leave her alone. You burned your bridge and stopped telling her ex about her. She moved on. So should both of you." And the Babes too says, "You're the arsehole. I can get why she decided she no longer wanted to be in the friendship. She chose to break up with him. End of story. Her reasons are no one else's business and they don't need to make sense or be good enough for anyone but her. You first implied she was a cheater. Not cool. And then you said she should more or less get back with her ex. You really did choose everyone else but her in that situation, and it probably hurt her. You stomped all over her boundaries. Also, the friendship is over after you disrespected her. Why would she keep you updated on her love life? I think what she told you in her last paragraph is true and to the point. I agree with her. And Confident Disaster says you're the arsehole. Hard to believe that 5 to 6 years and a lost friendship wasn't enough for you to figure that out. Sorry you never managed to land James. And one more from Deadly Housefrau, who says, you're the arsehole. It sounds like she tried to talk things out with James, but he didn't treat it seriously. Then you all acted like she was terrible for a very mature outward appearance. You insulted her like that was far out of line. It's also creepy that you've been spying on her for James. She's better without all your group's judgments, I think. Now, what would you do in this situation? What do you think of this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to another story. And our next story comes from Annoyed So Impulsive. Am I the arsehole for being annoyed that my girlfriend is so impulsive? I, 33 male, love my girlfriend 28 with all my heart, and have since we met in college a decade ago. We've been friends forever since we met in a shared class, but only started dating about 4 months ago. Partly because she wanted to explore life, which I understood and supported, even if it hurt to see her date other people. But we're together now, so the past is in the past. The issue is she's always been impulsive. She's decided she wanted a new car, so she bought one. She decided she wanted a house, so she bought one. She decided she wanted a dog, so she bought one. Wanted to start a side business, so she did. Tattoos, piercings, hell, even grad school. She just does everything on a whim. And the most annoying part is that things just work out. On a whim, she applied for an internship that turned into a job where she works from home and, in her own words, barely does anything for a shit ton of money. The car ended up being paid off by her grandparents as a grad school gift. The house she bought ended up dropping in price at the beginning of the pandemic, and she got it for super cheap with almost no interest. She applied and got a full grant for grad school for studying creative writing, and the school itself is one a lot of people would fight to get into, and she just breezed her way on in. Her dog is perfect, and I've never seen her train it. Her business is doing well despite her having no clue what she's doing. There's never been any consequences to her impulsive behaviour, and it's both annoying and worrisome for when the other shoe eventually drops. The argument came when yesterday we met for lunch with 2 new cartilage piercings. They were tacky and of course done on the fly. No thought behind it if they get infected or how they actually look, just another new, ooh, shiny moment. I don't remember the exact order of events, but we started arguing, and I brought up how annoying her being so impulsive was. She never talked or thought things through, just figured it would work out in the end like things always did. She stormed home without eating, and I soon got a ton of texts from other friends. Most are on her side, but a few agree with me that she's just too impulsive. Ooh, my friend, this isn't a good look. The whole post to me in this one just read of jealousy vibes, and this is your partner, someone that you should be supportive and urging them on and be thankful that they're doing great in life. What do you want them to be? Do you want them to be suffering? Do you want things not to work out for them? This is someone that you're meant to love, right? Oh man, you're going to be the arsehole in this for sure. I can't wait to see the comments on this one. So we'll start with Lizzie, who says, you're the arsehole. You just really sound like you're jealous that things tend to work out for her. That's a bad look. You shouldn't be jealous of your partner's success. None of the things you listed sound like they even affected you anyway. And Singing Stream says, it sounds like we could all do with being a bit more like your girlfriend, not considering bitching at her because her apparent impulsive decisions just pay off. To be clear, your girlfriend might seem to do things on a total whim, spur of the moment, etc., but you made it very clear that she actually puts thought into her actions, mostly before she does them. For example, she didn't buy the house the day she wanted it, she bought it at the exact right time. The house was right, the price was right, therefore the decision was right one for her. You just don't like the fact that her brain works so differently from yours that you can't understand that there is rational thinking going on under the surface. As for the body piercing and her thinking ooh shiny, so fucking what? Why shouldn't she go and get a part of her body pierced? She doesn't need to consult you about it, it's not your body. You seriously need to sit in the corner and consider why things working out for her is a problem for you. Why is it that you want her to fail instead of being happy that things do work for her? Why not take a lesson from this and try to do some things for yourself, instead of wanting to drag her back down again? You're the arsehole. And Madeline Gumbo says, you're the arsehole. When you're at the point that you're angered by your partner's good fortune, do them a favour and break up. She deserves someone that will be thrilled for her when things go well, and you deserve to be with someone who doesn't irritate you with their very approach to life. And we have one more from Cutie Patootie 8896 saying, "You're the arsehole. What exactly is your problem here? You say you're bothered by how she is so impulsive, but none of her behaviors sound impulsive to me. It sounds like she knows what she wants and knows how to go about getting it. Not every decision has to be a grueling decision that requires you to go through hell to make. If she's able to figure things out for herself and is successful at achieving what she wants, what's the issue? You frankly sound immature and jealous, almost as if you expect her to struggle and fail multiple times in order for you to somehow be satisfied. As if everything she does in her life has to be about you, and if it doesn't fit your way, it's just impulsive. You have been dating for precisely 4 months and yet you feel largely entitled to make sweeping judgments about the way she operates her finances, even though her financial decisions aren't detrimental to her nor you. And in terms of piercings and tattoos, it's her body and she's allowed to do what she wants. Of course, she's going to see something, decide she likes it, and then just do it. How else do you propose someone go about doing something? You obviously aren't compatible, and you seem to have a major problem with the fact that she's doing well in life and would rather her struggle and suffer as opposed to be happy and supportive of her." Now, what do you guys make of this one? Let me know in the comments below and your verdicts on all of today's stories if you choose to share them. No pressure though. If you do have a moment of your time, would you please consider hitting that like button, as it's really good for the channel, and just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending 20 minutes or so with the channel today. Thank you so much, and don't forget to let me know what you're doing right now as well. Much love, guys.